At first, it was the 4 ninja. Then 4 became 5, and for a while it stayed at 6. Now with the release of Dragons Rising, the ninja team is at an all-time high of 9 members. Today, based only on their Dragons Rising appearances, we're ranking the ninja from worst to best. Hey everyone, and welcome back for a new ranking video. As I said, this video only focuses on Dragons Rising, so the classic show won't be considered here. There will also be spoilers for Season 2, Part 2. So that said, let's begin. Zade was one of my favorite ninja from the classic show, so it's pretty sad that here he falls in last place. Zane hasn't had a meaningful story in years. The Ice Emperor story was 5 years ago, and even that story was very flawed. Going back to Zane's last great story in my opinion, you'd have to go 9 years ago to Season 4. With the exception of a single episode of Crystallized, Zade's character has felt very robotic in recent years, which contrasts earlier seasons that showed he had a lot of humanity. So far, Dragons Rising has done nothing to fix this, since Zade hasn't been focused on much in these 2 seasons. This issue can easily be fixed by giving Zade good character development, instead of having him do random side quests. But until that happens, Zade is going to stay in last place. And next up we have Jay, and the only reason he's so low is because we have seen very little of him so far. Despite that, Jay has had a very interesting and unique story so far. Because unlike the other original 5, Jay hasn't rejoined the team, and after the merge he lost his memories and became an administration agent. More recently, Ross recruited him in the tournament, we saw him use Shatter Spin, and since then he disappeared. All of this points to a very interesting story for Jay in the future. As to the only reason Jay is this low, is that his story so far isn't complete. But this isn't a bad thing, and I like that Dragons Rising isn't rushing his story and is making it more long term. So if I were to revisit this video in a year or so, Jay would definitely be higher up. And next up we have a new introduction to the team, Wildfire. Wildfire I think is an interesting character because, in my opinion, she's definitely taken less seriously than some of the other ninja. Wildfire's had some serious stories, but also a lot of lighter moments, and I think the show has struck that balance pretty well. Wildfire was at her best in Season 1's second half, where her story was about her maturing and just overall becoming a better person. And I've really enjoyed her relationship with Kai and how they developed and gradually became closer. Unfortunately, Wildfire had less to do in Season 2, but she had a romance story which was honestly not as bad as I expected. But there were definitely moments that stuck out to me, such as when she notices Egalt's illness and tries to help him. But overall, Wildfire is a character who has very much grown on me and brings a lot of fun to the team. Nia so far has been very solid in Dragons Rising. With Jay out of the picture, it's been really nice to see her relationships with other characters explored. I really enjoyed how in Season 1 she was a mentor to Sora and instilled hope and motivation in her. And I think in Season 2 her relationship with Kai was done really well. This relationship very rarely had focus in the original show. And so I love how Season 2 made clear how much these two mean to each other. And the flashback we saw was excellent. And more recently, her tournament fight with Jay was very emotional, and I'm really excited to see her upcoming story and how she's going to find Jay. Unlike some other characters, it's not like Nia's had a single story, but she's had a lot of different smaller stories that I think have made her character very interesting so far. Dragons Rising has really understood what makes Cole's character so compelling. I love that after the merge, instead of fighting the ninja, Cole stays with the fighters because he feels a duty to protect them, and he also feels a sense of family. I love how the show has shown him developing these new relationships with Gio and Bonzel, but also remaining committed to the fighters even after he rejoins the team. Cole in Dragons Rising has really embodied the concept of brotherhood and found family. I also like how his relationship with Wu is portrayed, and how in both seasons he hears Wu's voice and follows it. My only complaint is his quest to find Wu at the end of Season 1 happened entirely off screen, and we still don't know what happened. I think this is a pretty strange choice, but Cole's character hasn't been any worse because of it. Like previous seasons, Dragons Rising understands why Cole is so good as a character, and I'm glad to see the show really lead in on those aspects. It's safe to say Kai is the best he's been in years, and he had such a downgrade during the 11-minute seasons, but Kai's back in full form now. Season 2 especially made Kai feel exciting and cool in a way he hasn't felt since the early seasons of Ninjago. I love how he's the first to learn Rising Dragon, and how his relationship with Nia helps keep him focused. I also really enjoyed him in Part 2 of Season 2, and how we see him and Bonzel escape the Nether Space. Obviously this was predictable, but it feels really triumphant. And his mentorship to Wildfire, after years of Kai being the hothead, now he's the one discussing patience. And Kai works so well as a mentor because he has grown up in so many ways. But some things haven't changed. For example, his personality and humor. Yes, Kai has grown up, but the parts of his character that made him so lovable in the first place remain. The increased focus and much better writing for Kai have made him the single most improved ninja at Dragon's Rising. It was honestly really hard to rank these final 3 because they're all just so phenomenal at Dragon's Rising. But third place goes to Sora. Sora is the elemental master of technology, and I love how in Season 1 she claims ownership of those powers and becomes confident in who she is. I really enjoyed her personal connection to Imperium and its villains in society, and how she later comes back to help liberate Imperium. And seeing Sora stand up to her parents at the end of Season 1, this was such a meaningful story for so many viewers. More recently in Season 2, I enjoyed her fallout with Eren, and how after that, we see her try to make amends with Jordana. Sora's character is all about identity and finding strength in who you are. And seeing Sora succeed in spite of neglectful parents and an oppressive society is just so powerful. In such a short time, Sora's character has come so far, going from denying her own powers to winning the Tournament of Sources. And so far, this story's been perfect at every step. The runner-up spot goes to Eren, who was definitely the standout in Season 2, but from the very beginning, he's had a ton of promise. Eren is the first ninja who does not have a power, and it's the chance for Ninjago to finally represent the idea that anyone can be a hero. Eren is a hero because he has spirit and a true desire to help people. But despite that, Eren's journey so far has been filled with struggles. He's fallen short in training a lot, and his Spijitzu remains unrefined. And we see Sora's lie to Eren about his Spijitzu creates a huge divide. And later in Season 2, Ross manipulates Eren and convinces him to join him. What pushed Eren up to number 2 was his dark turn in Season 2. This was very gradual, yet very believable, given Eren's experiences at the time. It makes sense that after so many failures, Eren would turn to Ross for an easy way to get power. But this is just one stage in Eren's journey towards becoming a great ninja, and seeing him give in to these temptations is such an interesting storyline. And so yes, I love Eren so much not just because of Season 2, but because I think the message behind his character is so strong. The idea that powers don't make a hero. A message that Ninjago may finally achieve. Lloyd has been my favorite ninja for years, and so far, it's the case for Dragon's Rising too. Lloyd is such a multi-layered character in Dragon's Rising, and he has a lot of different stories. I really enjoyed his struggles with his visions, and how the story was about the importance of taking care of yourself. This show has also had him take up Wu's role as teacher, and I love seeing him struggle to live up to Wu's legacy, and question if he could be a good leader, and a good teacher to Sora and Eren. The whole Master Lloyd concept was kind of half-baked in previous seasons, but this show fully goes with it. And now Wu's out of the picture, and Lloyd has his own students. It's a new angle on his character that feels very refreshing. But above all this, Lloyd feels heroic and selfless in a way he hasn't felt in years. I love seeing him serve as the conduit and accept this burden just to help the Source Dragons. And like I said about Kai, it feels like Lloyd has just really grown up. And his mentorship to Sora and Eren, and his wisdom really reflects that. In the past few years, almost all of Lloyd's stories had to do with either Garbodot or Harubi. And it's so nice to see that beyond that, the show still has so much in store for Lloyd. I think Lloyd's been a fantastic character so far, and I can't wait to see how he continues to grow. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, subscribe, share with anyone ever you know, and let me know your rankings of the Dragon's Rising Ninja below, and I'll see you guys next time.